Start.
We will be presenting a life cycle assessment on incandescent light bulbs. My name is Lucas Anderson.
My name is Rufon.
I'm Angela Gurley.
And I'm Nathaniel Briner.
And I'm Kevin Dow.
Up until a few decades ago, we had little to no incentive to purchase different types of light bulbs. There was rarely a second thought put into the kind of light bulbs we chose for our homes and businesses. We all just use incandescent light bulbs. Today, there are many options to choose from for light bulbs in order to achieve higher efficiency, monetary savings, and a green impact for our world. As time goes on, incandescent light bulbs are slowly being phased out due to their inefficiencies and are being replaced by more sustainable forms of electric light, such as compact fluorescent lights and LEDs, or light-emitting diodes. Thomas Edison patented the incandescent light bulb in 1879 and it has since been one of the most commonly used light bulbs globally today. These bulbs work by sending current through a thin filament to emit light. These bulbs are cheap to produce, do not contain toxic materials, and are great for lighting small areas. However, they are not very energy efficient and do not light large areas as well as their competitors. As a result of this bulb's inefficiency in comparison to other light bulbs, they have been slowly phased out of the U.S. marketplace. The Energy Independence and Security Act of 2007 was put into place to reinforce federal energy reduction goals. This mandate does not ban the use or purchase of incandescent light bulbs in the U.S., but it does require that common household bulbs increase their efficiency by 25%. Despite that, there are countries such as Mexico, Australia, Argentina, and Brazil who have already completely prohibited use of incandescent light bulbs. And to further understand why they have prohibited them, we must look at the materials that they use. Here are a couple, before we talk about the materials, here are a couple, here's a slide on what incandescent light bulbs actually look like. So the primary A-line light bulb is shown on the upper right of this slide here. That's just the normal light bulb that you see in just normally. There's also a lot of different various incandescent light bulbs that's shown below that are a lot of them are just decorational, and there's also incandescent light bulbs can be used in as a directional use, and it can also be used to heat things, and can be used as bug lights or night lights.
All right, let's talk about the material that make up the light bulb. So all incandescent light bulbs have three basic parts: the filament, the bulb, and the base. The filament is normally made of tungsten, as it can be produced cheaply and lasts for a long time. Soft glasses is generally used for the bulb, and hot glasses is used for special light lamps to withstand higher bulb temperature and for added protection against the bulb bracket due to moisture. Pochylate is used to make the base of the end cap. Once the filament, the base, and the bulb are made, they are fitted together by machine in a simple manufacturing process. So let's talk about the manufacturing process. The incandescent light bulb manufacturing process is very well known and is not very energy intensive. First, the filament is mounted to the stem assembly with its end clamping to the two leading wires. Next, the air inside the bulb is evacuated and the case is filled with an argon and nitrogen mixture. These gases ensure the longer life for the filament. And finally, the base and the bulb are sealed. The base lies on the end of the glass bulb so that no other material is needed to keep them together. After testing, the bulbs are placed in their packet and shipped to consumer. With that being said, the material and the manufacturing process and the energy needed to make the light bulb does not require a lot of material. And this is fairly straightforward, and that's why it's so easily available for customers around the world to get in the incandescent light bulb.
All right, I'll be talking about the environmental impact of incandescent light bulbs, as well as their afterlife, as well as recycling. The environmental impact of incandescent light bulbs aren't as prevalent or damaging as it used to be. I would say on a scale Now there would be like a 2 out of 10 rather than back then it used to be like an 8 out of 10. And that's because incandescent light bulbs were more widely used as they were the only light bulbs available before the halogen LEDs and CFLs came out. Since they also didn't have a very large radius that they covered, more had to be used to light a wide or big place. And as you can see here with the numbers, so for a regular 60-watt light bulb and for 1 day, 24 hours, that's 1.44 kilowatts per hour, and that's roughly equal to 0.798 kilograms of CO2 emissions per 60-watt light bulb. And that adds up if there's a ton of them. So yeah, back then it used to be more prevalent as an environmental impact. But now, since we have more efficient light bulbs like LEDs, it's not as damaging as it used to be. And yeah, the impact is mainly due to the fact being that it only uses 10% of the energy or the electricity, and the other 90% gets lost or emitted as heat. And then recycling wise, there isn't really any special needs to recycle incandescent light bulbs. They can just be thrown in the trash. The only probably hazardous thing about it is they're pretty fragile and can rip bags, or in public areas, if there's a broken bulb or something, someone might step on it and that might hurt them or an animal. But yeah, next slide. And traditional incandescent light bulbs will be phased out and replaced.
So, as you mentioned, there's going to be new light bulb sources that have became more popular in the past few years and increasingly become more popular in the future, like the other countries mentioned earlier, such as Mexico and Argentina, have already converted with government regulations. So two of the main sources are the tungsten halogen incandescent light bulbs, and so there's been keeping a superior technology for that. Refinement of the traditional bulb, and it offers 20% greater energy efficiency by operating on a much lower voltage. And then incandescent light bulbs can become highly sustainable and reduce the environmental impact since they're on a lower voltage and they're using less energy. And then the other source is going to be the LED light bulbs, which we are seeing a lot of in America or in the United States. The change over to using LED more and more. The total operational cost for incandescent bulb over its whole lifetime is $200, compared to LED bulb is $38, and that's based upon the energy usage that you're using on a daily basis. And then LED light bulbs can last up to 30,000 hours compared to the 1,000 to 5,000 for an. But the downside to LED bulbs is they must be recycled, and a lot of people might not know that, or they might not be recycling in the correct way. So then the environmental impact can be a lot higher. So then on the next slide, we have recommendations. So whether they do it now or later, a lot of agencies are going to be forced to change their lighting sources into something that's more sustainable for the environment. And it's probably going to be governmental regulations sometime in the future. And the cost may be expensive to change the whole source over to a new type of bulb, but in the end, the payoff is high, not only for the environment and sustainability, but also because you save money on your utility bills, and that money can be used for something else. And so overall, the LCA of other lighting source is probably more conducive to the environment. So to look at a company that has already took a few steps forward in this sustainability aspects is Best Buy. They did a 2-year initiative. In the picture located, you can see how they changed the lighting source in their stores. And it's kind of, they realize it's better for their stores anyways, for the look and aesthetic. So they changed from high wattage to low wattage. So they changed from incandescent to LED. The efficiency and sustainability will save millions of dollars on their utility bills. And so we kind of recommend that other companies do the same as that.
All right, so in conclusion, over the past decades, incandescent lights have been the main source of lighting for many households and corporations because there was no other forms of light available. But as time goes on and the need for higher efficiency and more sustainable practices takes over, incandescent lights are slowly being phased out. So with the development of newer light technologies such as CFL and LEDs, incandescent lights are being replaced with better, more efficient forms of lighting, and also forms of lighting that offer more monetary savings and overall more green impact on our world. So the next slide is our bibliography.